Hi, this is Chris Poland, and you're watching CMS TV.
It is Chris Akin Presents, and I, of course, am Chris Akin. And today on the show, we get one of the greatest guitar players that any of you that have ever listened to thrash metal have ever heard. This guy's you obviously know where you know him from. You're gonna learn to know him from Nuclear Messiah. New release called Black Flame coming out, and here to talk all about it is the great Chris Poland. Chris, how are you,
Oh,
man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Chris.
I'm glad to have you, man. As a fan of your work throughout, it's always friendly to talk to you, and it's easier to talk to you when you have something brand new and fresh and rocking. So let's
Yeah.
start there, man. A lot of people probably have very little idea of what Nuclear Messiah even is. So why don't we start there? Maybe give us kind of the 30-second, 60-second rundown of this
All right.
project and how it came together.
Here's how it happened. Brian Pereira, he uh he runs Cleopatra Records. That's his label. He I worked with those guys, through the years, just doing solo projects with them. And anyway, he runs this idea by me where he's going to get like almost 40 iconic musicians, and we're going to make a record with them all. And I was like, okay. I mean, that's what he said. And then eventually it started happening. And I was like, oh my God, this is happening. I started getting nervous. I was like, who's playing drums? Anyway, that's how it came about. And then him and John Lappin actually chose who played on what song,
Okay.
which is kind of like a genius move in itself, really, because they just pictured it in their head. Yeah, if Adler played drums on this song, we'd have Marty Friedman do a solo. You know what I mean? That's how they
Mhm.
thought. So that's why it came out so good. That and Derek Hughes and Jurgen Engler, they're the producers. I don't know how they did it, man.
Well, who wrote the material? Was it you, or did
The
they bring it to
producers
you, or?
the producers wrote like the skeleton, song, and then everybody just gave their, 2 cents to it.
Okay. Well, doing a project like this, Chris, is that difficult for you as a musician? Because, and you know this obviously, but you sort of write toward the skills that you have in any project. And with this, where you really don't know, and it's almost kind of, you can kind of create anything and see what they fill in. Is that hard for you, or was that hard for you with this
No, no,
project?
that's what I love about being a guest.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I can I love being in the studio. I love playing live. That's its own thing. But in the studio, I can get my guitar to sound exactly how I want it to.
Mm-hmm.
I can get comfortable, and once I hear the song, it kind of dictates where I'm going to go. And that's I just let it lead me, and I try and think of a theme, and then I follow that theme, and I try to have a beginning, middle, and ending, and that's how I do it.
Sure. Now, I know it's been a million years since obviously the Megadeth years, but this sounds nothing like Megadeth, which, obviously it's been a long, long time since then. But at the same time, it's what you're most known for. So, with that in mind, do you write away from that, or do you just write naturally and what comes comes? How do you avoid being Megadeth again, I guess?
The last time I even thought Megadeth was when I wrote the songs for Return to Metalopolis.
Mm-hmm.
It was a transition period where I was like leaving Megadeth, and I wanted to do a solo guitar career, instrumental. And so I made it heavy, and now we're kind of heavy. We have Carlos Cruz on drums and Robbie Pagliari on bass, and our songs are heavy, but they're not Megadeth. You know what I
Right,
mean?
sure.
And I'm not Megadeth. I was when I was in the band, but like that's not my thing, man.
Right on. Talking about Ohm for a minute, and I did want to talk to you a little bit about that. it is so creative what you guys do that I don't exactly understand how you do it. Like and again, it just might be my ear. I'm very much a metalhead. So, when I listen to that, I don't understand how you find direction and how you find the character of your guitar and the character of the songs comes together so uniquely different than most metal things. Can you talk a little bit about that? Is that really a mindset, or is it a handset for you in your playing, or is it
You know,
just natural?
I just, whatever comes to, like if I'm sitting around at home and something tells me to pick up a guitar, I'll usually have a song or a good part to a song. And it just, however it comes, I don't sit down and go, okay, now I'm going to write a song like this. I never do that. It's like,
Okay.
but like a song like what's a good idea? Probably a song. Well, nobody's heard any of this stuff on the new record. Well, anyway, the new record's heavy. I mean, it's
Right.
heavy. It's three-piece, power trio, and it's 90% live.
Okay.
And Carlos Cruz, it's probably the best drumming I've ever heard. I've never heard him play drums this good ever.
Sure.
And Carlos Cruz is a good drummer.
Yeah, he's the Warbringer guy, right? Or he
Yeah,
was the
man.
Warbringer
So
guy?
yeah, I mean, if you've ever seen him live, it's like
Yeah.
an event, man. And Pag, Robbie Pagliari, our bass player, he brought it, and it just happened. Randy Burns produced it.
Okay.
But anyway, we're here to talk about,
Yeah, we're here
Black
to talk
Flame.
Nuclear Messiah.
Yeah. And the thing
And
about that record is we made a rock record, a rock metal record.
okay.
And we made it the way, at least I approached it, like, this is what I like about this kind of music. And this is what I would do if I was, in that band.
Hmm.
And I think that's how everybody approached it, when they did their parts. And they're all iconic, musicians.
Sure.
How could it be bad? It's like,
So what does it turn into now, Chris? Was is I mean, from what you're saying, and tell me if I'm wrong, but from what you're saying, this started out very much as a project. Here's the record company, they've got some ideas, they jived with you. Let's see how it goes. Now that it's turned real, and now, from everything I see, there is some real interest in this. Does it shift from being a project to a band?
you know, I'm worried about that because Brian wants me to put a band together. But how can I put a band together how can it even come close to what's on the record? I mean,
Yeah.
it's just not going to have the same, I guess, cachet. I don't know, the same.
The same vibe or something.
Yeah, man. It's just like we're talking like serious musicians are on that record, and like, yeah, we could put a band together and do it, but it just kind of loses the whole magic of the moment for me. I'm gonna give it a try, but I mean, I just, I'm not feeling it.
Sure. Would the hardest
It's like
part,
it is what it is, man. It's a moment in time,
right?
and it's really good.
Would the hardest part be to find a vocalist that has such a wider range of, ability?
That and we got to have keyboards,
True.
and trying to find a keyboard player in Los Angeles. I mean, come on.
Right on. As you move forward with this, Chris, and looking at Black Flame, obviously you've done the creative piece of it, and like you said, you're a little bit apprehensive of turning it into a touring entity per se. So what is your kind of end game with it? If I talk to you from a
My
year from now, where do you want it to be?
my fantasy is to have the whole project meet at NAM and do the set on Friday and Saturday night at the House of Blues in Anaheim and
Okay.
record. That's my fantasy. That's not
Mhm.
going to ever happen, but if it did happen, that would be pretty cool.
Well, it could happen. Why do you think it couldn't? I mean, you
Because
know,
logistically, man, you're not going to get everybody there. So, this guy's going to be in Europe. This other guy's going to be, getting his teeth cleaned, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
Hey, metalheads! Tired of waiting for new episodes? Crave the real, raw, classic metal show? For just $4.99 a month, you can become a CMS VIP. You get every episode a full week early, completely uncensored, and 100% commercial free. It's the only place to interact directly with the show, plus you score the Fast Pass, so your song requests get bumped straight to the head of the line on every live version. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe right now at classicmetalshow.locals.com and become a CMS VIP today.
The only thing that I'll just throw the monkey wrench into that a little bit is the fact that Metal Allegiance puts their thing together every year at NAMM, where there's
at,
a
at Anaheim House of
yeah.
Blues.
Well, I mean, maybe you guys play with them, and there probably would be some moving parts that fit for both bands. No.
That's possible.
It
I
could.
mean, the problem is I am so focused on this Ohm record. I hate to keep bringing it up, but this is like a whole different ballgame, man. We recorded on a Neve console that was made in 1970 by Rupert Neve's hands,
Mm-hmm.
and it's preamps before. It's like the original preamps.
Right.
So when Carlos said we're going to record here because he's done drums there, when I heard my guitar come back through the mains, I was like, wow, this board is magic. And I think you guys are going to hear it. And Randy Burns is producing it, so how can it be bad?
Yeah. Exactly.
And I'm sorry to keep bringing it up.
No, it's fine.
It's
It's
just
fine.
on my mind all the time.
I'm sure people want to know what you're doing. So, obviously we'll talk about both. I do want to swing back to Nuclear Messiah and talk about the sound itself. Considering that it is kind of, it was put together as a project, it sounds very lively. And what I mean by that is it doesn't sound like you took an MP3 and added a guitar line to it and then sent it to a drummer to add a fill or, it sounds, again, outsider listening to it, sounds like four or five guys in a room jamming something out.
Yeah, man.
How were you able to capture that live vibe, even though I'm assuming it was with a lot of throwing files around?
It was all remote, and that comes back into like decades of these incredible musicians that have been doing this for, so long that when they did it, they just brought it, that's how they do it now. And I was like, every time I'd hear a track, I'd be like, can you believe this? And there's moments like in Ride the Sky, the Arthur Brown song.
Mm-hmm.
When that solo spot came up and I realized that was going to be my solo section, I couldn't believe the bass and drums there. It sounded like a serious jam, like those guys had to be in the same room, but they weren't. And so that led me on a, like, when I heard that led me to do that solo. And it was like, I think that was the second take. I think I got the first theme and then the second take was that solo. Wow. Because it was so rocking. I mean, those guys were like bringing it, man.
Sure. Is there a line for you as a player between sounding raw and sounding polished? I mean, you've obviously done both in your career. Is there a line, or is there a way, I guess, is more where you listen to something and you're like, nah, too polished, can't use that. Let me raw it up a little bit, or let me do this or that to make it more real.
Yeah, sometimes I call it shiny.
Okay.
Sometimes, like I have a song that we wrote with David Eagle that's on another Ohm record that I'll tell you about later, but there's a song called Tin Man, and it was a total overdub deal, totally overproduced, super shiny. We never released it, but I'm going to release it on this record just because it's a good song.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I don't like it when it gets to the point where it sounds like, it's a pop record,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, but at the same time, look, I know a ton of musicians, Chris, as do you. and y'all are never satisfied with what you do, no matter what you do.
That's true.
And that being said, I think that's how a lot of records end up becoming too clean, is because you guys will play something, you'll be like, there's a little squeal here, there's a little scratch on
Oh
the
yeah.
string or what, and you almost just by osmosis of being in the studio, it forces you to take the dirt out of it, so to speak. Is that something that you fight with regularly?
No, man, I've gotten to the point where when I hear something and I know I've done something wrong, and if it's not too terrible, I think of like all the like I've heard Pink Floyd songs where my favorite part is the guitar mistake.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like I've gotten to the point where if something we put down has vibe and feel, nothing's perfect, and
Sure.
there are no mistakes, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be playing in the wrong key, but to a point, you gotta go with the feel take instead of the
Mhm.
perfect take. Perfect takes are boring.
Sure. Yeah, perfect takes are, boy bands.
Yeah,
That's
no, it's too
perfect take
safe.
stuff.
When
Yeah.
when it gets super safe like that, then it's kind of like the song Tin Man. It's just
Mhm. Do you think that that's a problem that we have in today's 2026's metal world, is that everything is way too clean and no risk taken at all? Everything seems very calculated.
the problem is computers are so powerful and you can do so much stuff that before it might not even be the same thing you recorded by the time you're done playing with it.
True.
Like, here, let's do this. Let's do that. No, let's turn it around. Let's make it backwards. It's like um, we're trying not to get in that trap,
Sure.
and that's why 90% of this Ohm record's live. So it's got the feel that you like and I like.
Sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Well, for you, Chris, at this point in your career, I mean, obviously Ohm has been going for a very long time at this point. Certainly every interview I'm sure you ever do mentions Megadeth on some level, because
absolutely.
obviously it's one of the biggest thrash bands in history and you were there. So, you're always going to get that. So with that in mind, what is your biggest motivation now? Is it living up to your history? Is it just being creatively different every time? What motivates you to pick the guitar up and record something to share with people today?
Um, I just love playing guitar. I can't. It's what I do. I don't even know what I'd do if I don't know what I'll do when I can't play guitar anymore. I just don't know what I'll do with myself. I guess I'll be a gardener or something. But no, I just I'm a tone chaser.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not working, like I run a bunch of studios in LA, I'm in my studio and I'm saying, what if I did this? And then that leads me to write songs as well. Or if I buy a new pedal, I might go, oh wait, I got an idea for a song. So I'm always waiting for a song to come, kind of like the Keith Richards. He says, the songs are already written. They're all out there floating around. It's whether your antenna can pick them up or not. So
Sure.
that's a perfect example is Peace Sells, but who's buying? Dave
Mm-hmm.
wrote that song in 5 minutes. He wasn't even trying. It just happened. And he goes, hey, check this out. And it turned out to be the biggest song they ever wrote.
Right.
So, however, everybody's different. You know what I mean? So that's what I do. I just wait for the songs to come, and luckily I have really great musicians that play with me. So again, even on this Black Flame record, I have some of the best musicians that ever lived. So
Sure. There's obviously on the Black Flame record, there is some Megadeth tie-in. There's obviously Adler and there's Sean Drover and you
and Glenn,
obviously and Randy Burns and there's a bunch of people from that. Is that because you guys all as alum keep up with each other? Because I mean, a lot of those guys, like you didn't play with Chris Adler in Megadeth, but
no,
I mean, is there some like Megadeth? There's a lot of names. Is there an alumni that you guys all kind of tell war stories or whatnot about your
No,
time?
no, not really. I mean, I did a tour with Marty a long time ago. I think it was called Guitar Evolution.
Hmm.
Um, but me and Marty, we don't speak. I mean, it's just he was asked, "Do you want to play on this record?" And
Okay.
Marty said, "Sure, I'll play on it." I mean, when you find, you know, when all these people are playing on it, and all you got to say is, "Well, this guy's playing on it," and about 2 minutes later, whoever he asks is going, "Sure, I'll play on it." But I mean, come on, it's like Marty's solo on Electric Burn. The
Yeah,
opening solo is just a teaser, man. When it gets to that main solo, right? Oh my God, the end of that solo is iconic, man.
definitely.
It's really a strong moment on that song. And then there's Sean Drover's drumming on for Mad Men Only. What great feel, man. And just when I heard the keyboard part, I was so sold on that song. And Pat Travers, I talked to John Lappin about that song because he was a big fan of the band.
Sure.
And so I got the original and I heard it, and they were using fuzz on everything. It was just a big fuzz fest. And so I made sure I found a fuzz and I used it on the song. And I really think Pat Travers did too, because when I heard the final mix, I was like, man, this is fat.
Right.
And it's awesome how it came out. It's just, to tell you the truth, we were probably really lucky that it worked, you know?
Well, look, everybody, I have spent 30 years in the loudest rooms in the world, and I can tell you one thing for certain. I've got zero time for weak coffee or woke nonsense. Guess that's actually two things I don't care. If you're like me, you're tired of giving up your money to corporate sellouts who hate your values. You want a brew that's as unapologetic as a Marshall stack cranked to 11. Enter Blackout Coffee. This is bold, fresh roasted, 100% American grit in a cup. It's fuel for patriots who refuse to back down. Whether you're hitting the Patriot medium roast or the massive high caffeine kick of Brutal Awakening, this is the taste of real freedom and hard-hitting flavor. Stop supporting the bland beans of companies that don't stand for you. Head over to blackoutcoffee.com right now. Use my code, which is in the description, for an exclusive discount. You can save. It's time to wake up unstoppable. Blackout Coffee, folks. Fuel for patriots. Get yours now. I mean, there is that little thing called amazing skill that you all have as well. I mean, it's not like if me and three of my buddies get in a room either. There'd be a big difference.
I know what you mean.
Right on. Well, obviously, Chris, you're going to be putting this out, and like you said, you've got Ohm coming. When are we looking at for Ohm? The
Pretty
fall
soon.
or? Oh no.
Yeah, we're just working on artwork right now.
Okay.
Carlos is doing the artwork. He's very creative. Um, Randy's doing. He found the template for the bass and drums, and we're going to use that on all the heavy stuff. And
Okay.
it's almost done. I'd probably be done. Usually a record company wants 3 or 4 months, so probably a Christmas release or something.
All right. Where does that put your energy now? Is it here with Nuclear Messiah? Is it looking forward a little bit? Because I'm assuming with Ohm, there's definitely touring that comes with that. And
Well, let me tell you something.
okay.
I can't make a living playing music. I can't do it.
Okay.
I have a wife and daughter. I have a mortgage. I have a cat and a dog. I have car payments. I have insurance, gas, food.
Sure.
I have a really good job running these studios that I'm
Okay.
sitting in right now. And I just can't up and say, okay, I can't do what Dave Ellison does. Dave Ellison
Sure.
he can get a call. Hey, we need a bass player. We're going to be out for 6 weeks. We're leaving in 3 days. Ellison will learn the whole set in 3
Right.
days and play it like he wrote it. I just can't do that.
Sure.
It's just not in me, man. And if something happens, let's say one of the songs on even the Black Flame record, let's say we have a hit song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe if I can, if I could leave this job and actually have health insurance at my age,
Sure.
it's like,
Well, that's
you
it.
know,
It's almost you have to risk something now in order to fulfill this lifestyle. Yes.
yeah. I mean, it's a razor's edge, man. It's like,
Sure.
it's like I'd be taking a chance, but you
It's a
know,
lot easier when you were 22 and didn't have a wife and
yeah,
kids and stuff. Just
exactly.
jump in the van and go.
Yeah, you're already sleeping on the floor anyway.
Right. Well, last thing before we wrap this up, Chris, and it's the only real Megadethy thing I do want to ask you is, and I'm asking this as not trying to be shit starter guy. So even
Not a
if,
problem, man.
but I know you get asked a lot, and this is one you're probably asked a bunch, but obviously we're on the 5-year final tour thing, whatever. Where do you think your place should be in it? Should you be one show, 5 shows, the tour, an appearance,
Oh, you
where,
mean with Megadeth?
yeah, with Megadeth, where do you think with the legacy and the history that you have, what do you think would be appropriate for you to do as part of this, if anything?
Um, I pretty much I think I know Dave's mind about this. I think Dave. It's hard enough for Dave to get his band together to get a set and get on stage and play it and do the best they can at it. If you throw like all these people into the mix, it's just going to drive him crazy. I know it is, and that's why he's not doing it. And I would do it. I'd walk up and play Peace Cells. It's no skin off my nose. I would love to do it. I mean, I'm
Sure.
really proud of my everything I did with Megadeth, especially The System Has Failed. I
Mm-hmm.
really love that record. Um, yeah, I mean, if Dave called me and said, "Hey, listen, we're playing the Forum. Come down and play Peace Cells," I'd be like, "Okay, I'll be there." You know,
Right.
but if I don't get the call, I'm not like crying about it. It's like,
Sure. Well, I mean, you understand it, and certainly I'm friendly with Ellefson as well. So, I've talked to him about this as well. The fans, it's not like this is a tour and then we'll wait 2 years and there'll be another tour. At least in theory, the fans would like that one moment. It doesn't even have to be the whole tour. It could be the show in Madison Square Garden or
right.
LA or, just one time where you get where you get Ellefson, where you get Marty, where you get, the collective.
It makes sense. It
Yeah.
totally makes sense. And maybe it's not even during a tour. Maybe after he's done with his tour he's sold all his t-shirts and made all his money, go
Right.
home, take a rest, and say, "All right, we're getting together. We're going to do one show on the East Coast and one show on the West Coast. If you want to play, be there. Pick a song you want to play."
Right.
Maybe that might work for Dave because then it's not in the way of his show.
Commerce. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
No, it makes sense.
yeah,
Well, I guess if people are waiting for that, they can just keep waiting while they listen to Nuclear Messiah.
yeah. Of course.
Black Flame will definitely entertain the folks that like the metal. What's the release date on this, Chris?
Oh, it's been out April
Is it out
24th.
now? Okay.
April 24th. Yeah, and then there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, if you like it really heavy, Death and Glory's
Yeah.
freaking heavy, and then there's the Sebastian Bach's performance on "Look at Yourself." That's
Mm-hmm.
the most progressive song on the record. That vocal performance is stellar, man. Like, I mean, everybody's vocals are great on this record, but that one, man, that and Arthur Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And Arthur Brown, he sang that when he was 80. That guy's a rock star, man.
Well, I think you're somewhat of a rock star yourself, my friend. I mean, there's a lot of people that really, really love what you've done, musically. So, one more time, it is Nuclear Messiah. It is Black Flame. Make sure you check it out. Where's the best place to buy something, Chris? We do not tell people to go to Spotify and give
No,
you
man,
your fresh nickel.
just go right to Cleopatra Records.
Okay,
Yeah, and then you could buy a T-shirt and a hat.
there you go. keeps the band going. So
Yeah.
make sure you do that. And one more time, everybody, it is Nuclear Messiah, Black Flame. And Chris, this is always fun, man. Thanks for joining me here on Chris Akin Presents.
Thank you, Chris.
Akin's greatest hits just dropped on limited edition red and purple splatter vinyl. That's right, 10 freshly recorded, balls to the wall anthems, Breaking the Chains, In My Dreams, Alone Again, Dream Warriors, Tooth and Nail, and more. This splatter beast is pure 80s hair metal glory, now sounding heavier and meaner than ever on your turntable. Smash the link at the bottom of your screen right now and own Akin's greatest hits on splatter vinyl.